If you haven't seen it, you should go watch the video on that, because that's the one that I was hot for, okay? And then I came out here to actually build the proper version of it, or at least a working model of it, and that's what this is, okay? But then I ran into a bit of a problem with the size of the parts. And I considered it to be a durability problem. I'm not going to go into details on that, but suffice to say that I wasn't happy with how, and I couldn't think of a handy solution at the time. So what I did was I shifted my focus to this one over here, which is one that was prompted by a comment that I actually got on that video right there, saying, well, why don't you have some kind of lever arrangement behind and nothing sticking out the front? So that's what I did. I posted a video on this last night on my main channel, showing it in action, very short video. And I did that for a couple of reasons. I wanted to see what the reaction was to the idea of the vise. And also I wanted to see what the reaction would be to the video itself. Because when you get a bigger channel, well, when your channel becomes bigger, you get the, I don't know, feeling that you shouldn't be posting short little videos like that. You should be putting more into it. So I want to do that, see what happens. I'm always experimenting, not just with stuff here, but everything. It's all one big experiment with me, okay? So really happy with the way this thing works. This went through several iterations though, or iterations, I guess. I ended up with this, but I started with this, which has that flippy thing that clamps on the bar. But then I discovered that you don't need this, okay? So I made this, has the sandpaper on the inside, grips the bar properly, works exactly like the plates on a pipe, or not a pipe clamp, but a F clamp. You know, the locking plates on an F clamp, a bar clamp. So this goes onto the bar. Hang on, I get it oriented correctly. This goes onto the bar, and pushing it ahead, it locks onto the bar, just like that, okay? Now, when I made this block inside here, which is solidly attached to these plywood sides, this is just a mock-up, remember? It's angled slightly on the front. I think it's 1 degree I cut it, okay? So that when it does push forwards, the sandpaper is sitting more flat on the side of the bar, rather than digging in so much up at the front here, okay? So that was the idea there. So this clamps onto the bar like that. You're pushing on this end over here. That pushes the jaw back. Now to do that, to accomplish that, I'm gonna stick this back together just so that I'll be able to play with it while I'm talking. To accomplish that, I have this intermediate lever here, and I'm actually gonna put some of that video I talked about on the screen so you can see it. Like, that was my first idea, the intermediate lever, all right? Because what I need to do is I need to get a lot of mechanical advantage transferred to that moving jaw, that bar, to pull it back with a lot of force so you can clamp something in there, okay? Now that was accomplished in this one with the circular ramps. As the thing rotated around, it pulled it in because it's riding up the ramp, okay? Very elegant solution, very elegant way to do that. Now this is different in that nothing rotates, so it can be more compact vertically. You see, that one needs room, like it has to be bigger so the thing could rotate, right? So what I was thinking is I would try this. This is exactly the same thing as that block that I just put in there, has the sandpaper on the inside, as you can see here, except it's longer. And it would replace the intermediate lever, okay? However, that didn't give me the mechanical advantage I was looking for. Turns out when you push over here, by the same amount you would push on the intermediate lever in this design, you're not able to actually push the whole thing forwards. You know, you're just trying to twist this thing, and in turn is pushing it forwards, but not with the same amount of force you get with this intermediate lever. You see? It pushes it back right where it's happening. The block locks positively on the rod or on the bar. The intermediate lever pushes that by a very small amount. It really doesn't have to move even a quarter inch, I don't think. And then this outside lever moves the intermediate lever over around 2 inches. So you get a lot of mechanical advantage there. Let's talk about this. This is smaller than what the build will be. I made this smaller scale just to try out the idea because I didn't want to use a bunch of good material. I had to use hardwood to build it to test how durable it was, okay? But the finished version would be 16 inches long for this moving jaw, so another 4 inches here, taller of course. And this bar would be 3 inches wide and 1.5 inches thick. Quite a solid thing because that's the only thing in the way. There are no other guide bars, no screws like lead screws or anything, just that. So it has to be strong. I've been working on this a lot, and I've mostly been thinking about it a lot over the past few days, and that's a problem because I'm getting close, very close to burnout on it. So the chances are that I will not get this finished anytime soon. I need to step back away from it, give myself, let my head clear with some other project so that I'll have like a fresh mind when I get back into it and finish the design and work out the rest of the problems. Now, in the meantime, I did go back to this, and like I said, I modified this to be exactly the same as that, in that it's fixed. It doesn't flip anymore. It's not hinged. Okay, so it slides on the bar like that. So this is your quick release. And then when it engages, it pushes up here and it locks on the bar. I'm hoping that's the way it'll work, okay? So the internals of this would be the circular ramps again. There'll be 2 on the front, or a single big one on the front here. And then there'll be another matching one on the back that keeps the pressure forward, okay? So this is pressing forward, this one's pressing back, that'll lock it on the bar. And then when you turn it to a side like this, the one on the front here, imagine it's sideways like this, the one on the front here won't be pressing anymore. And it'll be free to move, and it'll slide back and forth. So free to move here in this position. As soon as you turn it up, what is that? However many, 90 degrees like that, it locks on the bar, and then further turning it will pull the jaw in. Okay, so working on this kind of at the same time as that. I just added this hardwood to the front here. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Now, another thing I want to talk about behind me here is an idea I have for edge jointing boards. I posted the video showing the auxiliary fence that I use on my table saw. The reason why I use that is because I really don't want to go to the trouble of pulling out the jointer and getting that set up just to do the edge of a single board or even 2 boards, okay? I would much rather do this. It's quicker, everything's already set up. I just grab the thing, slide it in, make my cuts, and away I go. However, if I could get this, done over here, it's just my handheld planer, and I would modify my miter saw station to have that installed there in some way so that I can use it just to edge joint boards. You take the board, set it down on the wings of the table saw here, and run it through, and it would straighten and square the edge of the board. So I'll probably be doing that soonish. Okay, I have other projects that I'm thinking about as well. including that banquette that I talked about before.
Carbon. Carbon is at the center of it all. There is no life without carbon. Nowhere that we know of in the universe. Everything that lives, lived, will live, carbon.